What is up, my fellow Chibits? Hopefully all of you are having a very wonderful day today, because I wish you are, because today Sailor Moon Crystal is here. And with this episode, we have a lot of Yuri behind the scenes going on in this episode. And I'm like, what? Now, the thing is about this episode, the episode starts off with a flashback to the last week's episode with the kiss. Now, I didn't really talk about that much in the last video I made, but so here I am, I'm here to talk about it now. So, we had a kiss scene last week, and then we get to see the flashback in this week, and it's like one of the main plot points of this episode. Usagi is thinking about who kissed her, and she's like, I see this person as a man, and I see this person as a woman. And you see an image in some animation where, you know, a male version and a female version are coming together, and they look like the same exact person, which I think Toei Animation's not really trying to hide that, so, yeah. But the main thing is, though, when Usagi is putting two and two together and she's thinking about this, it's something I did not expect, but also, like, whoa. So, there is some Yuri undertones in this episode, so, yeah, I didn't think Sailor Moon Crystal would actually have Yuri undertones, but nothing wrong with that, by the way, just saying, I'm surprised. And one of the great things about this episode, I think, is the comedy. There were so many good, funny moments in this episode, but one that really stood out to me was Minako and her kind of gender bending into a dude. And I honestly, I had a good laugh from that, because the way she kind of channeled her inner, you know, Usagi, she's like, Usagi did this once before, I can do it, changes into a Mel type outfit and uses, like, old Sailor V type stuff. I'm like, yo, what? So, Minako gender bending into a dude. That was something also that gave me a good laugh. I mean, majority of this episode, there was a lot of good scenes in here that gave me a good smile, a good laugh. I was enjoying myself, and I was very entertained. Now, when it comes to the actual plot of this episode, for the most part, when it comes to the villain of this, you know, episode, very, I guess, average, honestly. I really gotta say the villain of this episode was very average and nothing overall that impressive, because it's pretty much the exact same thing of what we come to know and get used to when it comes to Sailor Moon Crystal. Nothing special, nothing horrible, but nothing special when it comes to the villain of this episode that was defeated. However, I do love the action scene we did get in this episode. I love getting to see the transformation sequence, since it was kind of cut down. It wasn't as long as they usually are, but also when you get to see the scenes to when the powers were used. Oh my god. I love seeing that in this episode. It really is something I love to see, and seeing how the animation was done and the sequence and all that, back to back. I gotta say though, Sailor Moon Crystal has definitely given me a good, entertaining ride. This season, as I've already said, is way better than the previous season. Leaps and bounds better. Because you could see that Toei, they're actually putting a lot more work into it. But also, like I've said already, the comedy, it's so much better. I don't know why, but I love the comedy that is being used in this season. I don't know if it's because they axed a lot of comedy in the first and second season, it wasn't as funny. Maybe they tried to take it as a more serious approach, or maybe the later half of Sailor Moon actually turned into somewhat comedy. But I always believe Sailor Moon had a lot of comedy, but I just didn't feel like it had much in the anime version of Sailor Moon Crystal. So yeah, I mean, I love the comedy in this episode, and I love the tone shifts between the comedy and the serious moments. And talking about Chibi Usa, actually, I need to talk about that scene. So, Chibi Usa, she has a little bit of a conversation that kind of progresses the plot a bit when it comes to Hotaru. I think that's the girl's name. Pretty much there's some plot progression going on there. Chibi Usa's finding out some certain plot points about the talisman, and then also about, you know, the mastermind, the main villain of this arc. And she's like, I promise not to tell anyone about it, even though she's unaware of who this person really is and what trouble this person is causing everybody. But still, Chibi Usa finds out a lot about what is going on, and most likely that's going to be really important later on down the road when it comes to the plot of this arc. I'm going to assume once all the Witches 5 are completely defeated, most likely Chibi Usa is probably going to explain what she saw and probably tell some information that she has. And also, the talismans are still on the table and trying to be found, and yeah. So overall, this episode of Sailor Moon Crystal, it was enjoyable. It was nothing amazing, obviously, but I mean, it was still enjoyable, and I had a fun time watching it. So, you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.